This evening will be a short lesson. It is continuing with section 2.4 on chain rule. So first I will give you the homework assignment out of section 2.4. There's quite a few even numbers in here, so I'll get you those answers obviously tomorrow in class. So the first thing we're going to do is find an equation of a tangent line to the graph of f at the given point. So here are our directions. Again, the first derivative is the slope of the tangent line. Then we put it into point-slope form in order to get the equation of the entire tangent line at a particular point that is found on my function f. So I will do number 70. My function is 9 minus x squared quantity raised to the 2/3 power, and we're going to do this at point 1,4. So the first thing I need to do is find the slope of the tangent line by taking the first derivative. I'm going to use the chain rule. Take the most outside, the 2/3, bring that down, copy the inside, and reduce that by 1, be negative 1/3, times, now take the derivative of the inside, that would be negative 2x. I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. Let's see. This is in the numerator, this 2 is in the numerator, and then all of this and that 3 is in the denominator. So it looks like it's negative 4x all over 3, and then this is to the cube root. Go back and double check all of our math. That looks good. So now I'm supposed to first find the slope of the tangent line at the point 1,4. So that would be negative 4, 3 times, and that would be 1 squared is 1, so 9 minus 1 is 8. And so that would be 2. So negative 2/3. And what is this? The slope of the tangent line. But that's not what they asked for me to do. They asked me to find the entire equation of the tangent line. So I'm going to put that in point-slope form. So y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. What do I need? I need a point. Well, my point was at 1,4. So my x and my y minus 4 equals the slope is negative 2/3 x minus 1. This is point-slope form. But let's say on the AP test, they ask you this question and the answers are only in slope-intercept form. So that's a y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to distribute that. Negative 2/3 times the negative 1 is positive 2/3, and then this negative 4 I'm going to add to this side. So that means I have to add 2/3 and 4. Need a common denominator, that is 4. 12 divided by 3 is still 4. I multiplied this by 3 over 3, so that's 14/3. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 14/3. That is now in slope-intercept form. That's this one here. Well, they might want me to have this in standard form. Maybe that's my only choices on the AP test. Standard form, I'll do a review here. Standard form and so with the capital A, capital B, and capital C, they don't want fractions. They only want whole numbers. And they usually have everything to one side and having it set equal to 0. So the way I'm not going to have a fraction is I'm going to multiply everything, both sides, by 3, by whatever the denominator is. And so that will be able to cancel that out. At the same time, since this is negative, my x, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to this side. So that would be a 2x that's already over here, plus 3y, bring that to the other side, minus 14 equals 0. This is now in standard form. Again, I multiplied the 3 to everything, which gets rid of all of the denominators. And then I put everything to the left-hand side of the equal sign because this x was negative and I like it positive. Next. Let's find the second derivative. So I'm going to do number 83. So that is f of x equals 2 times x squared minus 1 quantity cubed. So let's go find the first derivative, and I'm going to have to use the chain rule. I'm just going to write down the 2, bring down the 3, copy the middle, and reduce that 3 to a 2. Now go on the inside, take the derivative of the inside, and that would be 2x. Let's clean that up. That'd be 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, x times x squared minus 1 quantity squared. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the second derivative. I denote that with 2 tick marks. So now I'm going to have to come up here and I'm going to use the product rule this time. The derivative of the first, copy the second, plus copy the first function and take the derivative of the second, in which I'm going to have to use the chain rule. Bring down the 2, x squared minus 1, reduce the 2 to 1, then take the derivative of the inside, which would be 2x. Let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit. So I'm going to leave that as 2 times the quantity x squared minus 1 squared plus, see, 2 times 2 is 4 times 12, that's 48. And I have x squared, 48x squared times x squared minus 1. I'm going to go ahead and GCF out a 12 and an x squared minus 1. That's a common factor in each of these two terms. What do I have left? I have one of these x squared minus 1's left, plus, I'm going to take 12 out of 40. That leaves me with a 4, using with the x squared, but that was completely taken out. Let's see, 4x squared, that's 5x squared minus 1. And that is my second derivative. Last problem for this evening. Evaluate the second derivative at the given point. So I'm going to do 89. F of x equals cosine x squared, and it's going to be at 0, 1. So first I have to go to the second derivative before I enter in 0 for x. First derivative. Well, the most outer thing for chain rule would be the cosine. So it's negative sine, and just copy that, times it by the derivative of the inside, 2x. Let's clean that up. That's negative 2x sine of x squared. And I cannot evaluate that quite yet. I'm not the second derivative. Get ready for the second derivative. And it looks like now I'm going to have to use product rule here. So the derivative of the first, and times it by copying the second function, plus copy of the first function, take the derivative of the second one. That's cosine x squared, but I'm going to have to use the chain rule. So I did the most outer one. I took the derivative of sine, and now I'm going to take the derivative of the inside, which is x squared, which would be 2x. Let's clean that up just a little bit. Negative 2 sine of x squared, negative 4x cosine of x squared. Now I'm supposed to evaluate this second derivative at this point 0, 1, which means I just enter in 0 for x. Negative 2 times sine of 0 squared is 0, minus 4 times 0 cosine of 0. So let's make a small unit circle. I'm here at 0. That ordered pair is 1, 0, and every ordered pair is cosine theta, sine theta. So negative 2 times, let's see, that would be 0. 4 times 0 is 0, and cosine of 0 is 1. But that is still 0. That is still 0. So that is the answer that they are looking for. I evaluated the second derivative at this point, and it happens to be 0. Thank you.